Hello, my name is Randy Mead. I'm a student at Jefferson State Community College in Birmingham, Alabama in the Funeral Service Education program. I'm in a class, an internship in funeral directing, and part of my assignment is to give you a tour of the facilities where I work. To do that, I begin in the arrangement conference. The first time I often meet with a family is in their arrangement conference if I was not the one that did the home removal or saw them in the nursing home. So I'll begin there. After the arrangement conference, I often give the families a tour of our facilities, so I'll kind of walk you through the same thing I did with them. I'll have to turn the camera around at this point. This is our table for meeting with families in an arrangement conference. We have our computer and fax and printer and all over here. When I meet with a family, I usually sit here at the end of the table. The family sits beside me. Spend a little bit of time getting to know them if I've not met them before. Then I let them know that we'll be taking some information, vital information for the death certificate. We'll also then talk about their family and survivors, gather information for the obituary at that time. Then we talk about the kind of services they want to have, when they want to have them, and we make all those arrangements at that time. You can see on the table are our general price list, casket price list, outer burial container price list, and they are given one of those each to look at before we go and look at the caskets in the display room. As you can see, also we offer them coffee and other things. I've been very fortunate to be involved in many arrangements already, some that I've conducted completely by myself with the funeral director on staff present, others assisting him in the room, taking information in his presence. So once we get to the point of looking for a casket or vaults, I take the family into our display room, show them the different kind of caskets and vaults we have, all the way from our bronze vaults to our coppers, our stainless steels, to our woods, also to our 20 gauges, 16 gauges, 18 gauge caskets. So I take them through them. Usually I let them know that the prices are in each casket, and if they have questions or have any in particular that they're interested in, I show them the details of that particular casket. Inside this closet we have vault information. We have the small sample vaults. I'm sorry I forgot to turn this light on in advance. But we go over vaults, and I explain the differences in the vaults to the families and help them make their selection if they want to choose a vault or a concrete box. When we have finished with the arrangement conference, I take them on a tour through the building. We come right back through this office of the display room into the hall, and I begin showing them the building. We've just remodeled our building and just completed it at the end of 2011. We still have the outside of the building to be completed. These are our new restrooms. Very nice. My job is to clean the toilets and the sinks before visitations and before funerals as soon as I get to work in the morning. Also, I begin by mopping the floors after I've made sure there are plenty of paper towels and toilet paper in the facilities. Our lounge is back that way, but we'll come back to that in just a moment. As I lead the family through our building, I show them the different rooms that we have and the different options that we have. I must show you this. Our old bathrooms that were in this building were not renovated. So I want to show you this room particularly. It's the old men's room. And it's a lovely pink. So it was time to renovate. We hope to have those renovated soon. I don't usually show those to the families when I'm taking them on the tour, just to make them aware that there are restrooms there. Some of our viewing rooms, estate rooms, this is the smallest estate room that I have used. We don't often use this room. It's a third room that we have, and it's the last one that we generally use, but we have all new furnishings since it's been renovated. The casket is usually displayed there for the family. I have used this only once since I've been working for the funeral home, and that was for a short viewing when the family was just going to have a cremation. The lighting is not very good in this room, but this is just an overflow room for that estate room. We can watch DVDs or display DVDs in that cabinet for the families. Again, there's more of our new furniture in there. Across the hall, this room can also be used as a stateroom, but primarily this room is just used as an overflow out of the chapel for people to come and have small visitations with small groups. Often this is also where I meet with pallbearers to go over instructions prior to a funeral. I have them to meet me in this room. It can be used as an estate room, but rarely do we ever use that. This is the front entrance of our building. We come in through those double doors. The families will come in there usually, and then we take them back to view their loved ones, but they gather in here until we're ready for that. This is also the main entrance for visitors to come for visitations and funerals. As you can see, we have new furniture, but we have no wall art. It's all ordered, but it hasn't come in yet. On the board here, I place the information about who's lying in state and what room they're in. We put our register book on this table. We also put a book of remembrance out for people to write memories of the one who has passed, and we give those things to the families. The memory book is a book that I incorporated into our practice. We weren't doing that at the time, but formerly as a preacher, I found that was very helpful for me as a preacher to gather information about the decedent. So we come into this larger estate room. It's a dual-purpose estate room. During the visitations, I set up the DVD and the DVD player there, and it's playing on a loop for the families and friends to watch during the visitation hours. Families come in through here, visitors come through here before they enter into the chapel. Doors to my left, which I'll show you in just a moment. But this room is also an estate room. We set the casket on that far wall over there. I have been involved in, oftentimes, this is a chosen way for families to have some private time before the service. We may have visitation in the chapel, but what I'll do in the mornings after the visitation on the night prior, I'll bring the casket out of the chapel and place it against that wall for the visitation in the morning, and then we'll leave the casket there, and the family can have some private time prior to the service. In that case, when we do that, I would ask the families to gather in here, meet for a little while. The preacher will have a prayer right before service time, and then I'll take the families into the chapel onto the left front and seat them, come back, close the casket with my assistant, if I'm not the assistant, which often I am, and then the casket will be brought down into the chapel. But this is our main lounging area outside the chapel for people to talk and visit during the visitations. I also do all the cleaning in all of these rooms, sometimes vacuum, but we do have a cleaning lady that comes occasionally, so I'm freed of that response. As you look into our chapel, our families sit at the left front. We usually have the pallbearers to sit on the right front. Most of the time I'm in charge of the pallbearers as the main funeral director takes the family. So I seat the pallbearers on the right front seat. On the back of the chapel are some tables that we often display knickknacks on. That gets to be my job usually as well. And so we'll keep them clean and neat, put picture frames out, and we try to please our families by decorating the best we can to put those mementos up for the families. That is the open area that goes out into the overflow room that I mentioned a while ago. So I make the families aware of the options that we have to have a viewing. We can have a viewing in the chapel both the night before and the day of the funeral. The casket will sit right before the podium there before you, and the minister will sit in one of the chairs beside it. During a funeral, after we have brought the families in, I get to have the visitors to sit down, and then I take my exit out this back door. Also during the funeral, this is the way we will bring the casket out. I have the pallbearers come out this way first. They'll come down this hallway. And I'll lead them through these double doors. These double doors go out, and immediately to the right is the funeral coach. Immediately to the left is the back of the building where we have parked the cars. And again, I keep saying we, but that's one of the main jobs that I have, and I'm usually in charge of the pallbearers. Coming down this back hall, we come first to our music or sound room. Keep all our register books, flags in this room. This is also the sound room where when I do the music, oftentimes we either do iTunes music or we have recorded music that we already have in place that I play. The little television here has a closed caption camera in the chapel, so we're able to watch the chapel area from in here, and as I'm playing sound I can tell when the minister sits down and it's time to start a new song, so I can keep up with the funeral in that way. Also do a lot of eating and chit-chatting in this room during service and visitation times to take care of my downtime. This is some of the racks and things that we have to display items, and so when I need to put frames up or something like that, I come back in here, and this is where I get our frames. I usually lead the family, still on the tour also, through this back hall. Our building is made in a square, and there's a hall that goes all the way around, so we're really just going in one large square. This is our lounge area. Again, this is my responsibility for keeping clean prior to a service. Usually we get here in the morning 30 minutes before we open the doors, and my job is to sweep the floors, clean off the tables, start the coffee, and get the counters cleaned up before heading to the bathrooms and sweeping all the floors. But we have a nice area here for families to get together or friends to visit as well. Families are welcome to bring food, and friends often do have food available during service times. So as we go through the tour, I bring the families back to the point where we started, back to the restrooms, and ask them if they have any questions. And that is a tour of the inside of our facilities and some of the jobs that I do during both arrangement conference and meeting with the family, preparing for a visitation, preparing for a funeral. And I hope you enjoyed the video.